Hi, welcome to Broken Silence. I'm Sanyya, Gardez. Interfaith and intercultural marriages. Are they a good thing? Dr. Nassim from the Central Mosque in Birmingham says that marriage is a duty and should be taken as an intellectual decision and not an emotional one. Joining me on the panel is Mr. Gulbag Singh. Gul, what do you think? What is your take on marriages, and especially interfaith and intercultural marriages? Can they work?
Coming from my background and the work that I carry out around community cohesion.
You're a community cohesion manager, are you not?
That's right, for an infrastructure team in Solihull.
Mm-hmm.
So we promote cohesiveness, looking at the diverse communities that we live in, that kind of cultural, global community that we live in. We try to bring people together.
Sure.
So from that point of view, it would be very derogatory for me to say, no, they can't really work. Like you were saying to Dr. Nassim earlier, in the sense that we live in a country where that diversity has been promoted to a level, into a very sort of positive way, in every way or form, that equality should be for everyone. Exposure of second generation, third generation of Asians, interaction with other people, then it's going to be very, very difficult, not to say that they're not going to be falling into a relationship with someone other than their own culture or religion.
So do you agree with Dr. Nassim that, going into a marriage and letting your love take a front seat is a bad thing, and it should be an intellectual decision and not an emotional one?
I don't agree with him. I can see where his point of views are coming from.
Because he's not alone in sharing that opinion.
Of course he
I mean,
isn't.
I know my parents, for one, if they're watching, they're probably thinking, yes, that's right.
Because they are from that kind of generation gap, or that mindset that, yes, that was the way that things were done. Like you were saying to him, the only time a person found out they were going to get married 30 years ago was the day before the marriage, or 2 weeks before the marriage, that we've arranged something, or your grandparents have arranged something, and you're getting married to so-and-so from so-and-so's background. Someone they were quite confident and comfortable that this person would be able to support and be able to look after their daughter and vice versa. Unfortunately, again, what you said about Dr. Nassim, I don't disagree with him. It certainly sounded what he was doing was some kind of risk assessment and very intellectual in that sense, a legal bounding contract that we fall into.
Well, it is a legally binding contract.
And arranged marriages sometimes are looked upon like that, and they are to a certain degree. They have been. They are changing again, and we are sort of falling onto that realms of where arranged marriages are on that kind of very brink now of turning into a love marriage, more so than an arranged marriage.
Okay.
And
how so?
In the sense that that flexibility and that rigidness of arranged marriages is being taken away.
I guess how you define arranged marriages is changing. It's not meeting your partner on the wedding day. You might have spoken to them a few times or whatever.
Yeah.
When we were putting this show together and we were looking for participants, we had a lot of young people in college and uni who were in interfaith relationships and relationships with people of a different culture who were really happy that we were addressing this issue. However, they weren't so apt to come on and so eager to come on because their relationships are undercover. I mean, their parents would kill them if they found out they were dating somebody or seeing somebody or even remotely thinking that they have the possibility of marrying somebody of a different faith or a different culture. Are we kind of punishing the younger generation by first and foremost exposing him to this completely different culture, sending him to school, going to uni, exposing them to different backgrounds, and then expecting them to kind of stay, for a lack of a better word, undiluted by the culture? So you're sent out in the world, you're exposed to people of different backgrounds, you go away to uni, you live there, your housemate, your flatmate can be of any different ethnic origin or faith, yet you still have to maintain that kind of distance and know that, okay, this experience that I'm having now is only for 3 years or 4 years. I still then have to go back and pretend like I actually never left India or Pakistan and marry somebody who ultimately, whether you want to call it arranged or not, is arranged.
I certainly wouldn't call it a punishment. I certainly understand what you're saying, that there is that kind of level of commitment on our children to adhere by
I mean, isn't
our
it
way
harder
of
for
life.
people of this generation as opposed to people of our parents' generation who didn't have that option? I mean, that was a given they were going to marry somebody of the same faith.
I wouldn't say it's harder. It's the way that, like you're saying, is that exposure. Now, yes, of course, when we're outside in the world, either in university or in education or in employment or in our social activities, we engage, we build a rapport, we meet people from many different backgrounds. But when we enter our home, it depends what kind of doctrine or what kind of influence or environment that you live in. If it is one of a very religiously orientated or culturally orientated, yes, that is going to have them kind of different values and different respects, and that person is going to be torn between the two. What do they do when they step outside the door? What do they do when they enter the house?
So it's having those kind of like dual personalities almost. One that you have when you come on in the house and you put your shalwar kameez on, and one is when you go outside and put your jeans and stilettos on. I mean, will there come a point maybe with our kids or their kids where those two different personalities will fuse into one, and we can just be who we are all of the time?
I think it's wrong to say that it isn't happening or it's on the progression, because yes, it is happening, where parents have understood that by forcing or trying to impose something on their children isn't working. Therefore, we are getting, where statistics have shown, Asian females running away from home, suicidal rates were quite high because of arranged marriages. Either the parents wanted to take them to Pakistan or India to get them married. They have learned by their mistakes. There is still that pockets of areas where they still feel that, no, as far as our religion is concerned or our culture is concerned, is the utmost and foremost, irrespective that we live in a foreign land. And therefore we should fully adhere by it. I think what the message should be out for, not the younger people, but it's for them older people or that generation, that parents, or that there's got to be a balance and that kind of sort of meeting people halfway or meeting their children halfway. In coming to respect that yes, they are going to be exposed to people from the different backgrounds, and there's going to be a good possibility that they're going to fall in love with someone from a different background as well. And you're quite right, yes, emotions will take the front seat, they won't take a back seat.
Right.
Because first and foremost, when we look at someone, we make our assumptions.
That's right.
Yeah, because of our physical sort of chemicals kick in.
That's right. We're talking about interfaith and intercultural marriages. Can they work? More after this short break.